Maya's days began long before the sun rose, the dim light of dawn barely seeping through the narrow window of her modest apartment. The small space was cluttered but orderly, a reflection of her diligent nature. Despite the fatigue that lingered in her muscles from yesterday's labor, she rose with a determination that had kept her moving through years of struggle. The factory awaited, a sprawling complex of metal and smoke, where she spent countless hours weaving through the noise and rhythm of machinery, assembling parts with practiced hands. Life had never been easy for Maya. From a young age, she had learned to fend for herself, shaped by hardships that tested her resilience. She worked not only to survive but to carve out a space of hope amidst the harsh realities. Her tough exterior, often mistaken for aloofness, masked a heart that cared deeply not just for herself but for the few people she trusted. Her kindness was subtle, expressed in small gestures, sharing a meal with a co-worker, offering a word of encouragement when spirits flagged, or simply listening to stories amid the clatter of machines. The factory was both a place of routine and unrest. The air was thick with the scent of oil and sweat, punctuated by the constant hum of conveyor belts and the sharp clang of metal. Here, Maya was one among hundreds, a cog in a massive industrial machine that demanded efficiency and endurance. Despite the exhaustion, she found solace in the predictability of the work. Each day's tasks were clear, measurable, and for a moment, provided a sense of control in a life otherwise filled with uncertainty. Yet beneath the surface of this ordinary world, tension simmered. The factory had recently been the scene of a troubling incident, one that rippled through the workforce with quiet anxiety. Rumors swirled, grievances built up like pressure ready to burst. Maya, aware of the delicate balance between survival and protest, navigated these undercurrents with care. She was no stranger to hardship, but she also understood the dangers of pushing too hard in a system that showed little mercy. In stark contrast to Maya's world stood Victor, a billionaire whose life was framed by wealth and power but shadowed by loss. His towering office overlooked the city, a fortress of glass and steel reflecting a life meticulously controlled yet emotionally fractured. Victor's days were filled with meetings, deals, and the relentless pursuit of success, but beneath the veneer of authority lay a profound loneliness. The loss of his daughter, mysteriously vanished years ago, haunted him like a specter. Despite all his resources, the void left by her absence remained unfilled, a wound that no amount of money or influence could heal. Victor's public image was one of strength and decisiveness. To the world, he was a titan of industry, a man who had built an empire from nothing. But behind closed doors, the pain of personal tragedy softened his hard edges. His daughter's disappearance was a constant ache, shaping his actions and choices in subtle, sometimes hidden ways. His isolation grew with every passing year, a self-imposed exile driven by grief and the burden of responsibility. The intersection of their lives loomed on the horizon, a meeting of two vastly different worlds. Victor's attention was drawn to the factory following the recent unrest, and he decided to confront the situation personally. The visit was charged with tension, the powerful billionaire entering the realm of the workers, a symbolic clash of authority and labor. For Maya and her colleagues, it was a moment of uncertainty, a reminder of the fragile line they walked between submission and resistance. Victor's presence was imposing, his sharp gaze scanning the faces of those gathered before him. His voice, calm but commanding, cut through the murmur of the crowd as he addressed the recent incident. He spoke not only as a man in charge but as someone demanding respect and control, underscoring the stakes involved for everyone in the room. The workers listened, a mixture of apprehension and defiance in their eyes, aware that this encounter could alter the course of their lives. In that charged atmosphere, Maya stood quietly, observing the scene with measured resolve. She recognized the significance of the moment not just for herself but for all who toiled under the factory's roof. This confrontation marked a turning point, the prelude to change that neither side could fully anticipate. For Maya, it was the beginning of something that would test her strength and heart in ways she had never imagined. The ordinary world, with all its struggles and quiet hopes, had shifted. Beneath the surface of daily toil and corporate power, the first threads of a new story were weaving together, threads that would bind Maya and Victor in a fate neither could escape. Victor's confrontation with Maya unfolds with a surprising intensity that leaves both of them unsettled. What begins as a straightforward challenge quickly deepens into a charged exchange, revealing underlying tensions and stirring unexpected emotions. Victor, driven by a mixture of frustration and suspicion, approaches Maya with a directness that catches her off guard. His questions and accusations carry weight, suggesting he has reasons to doubt her, though what exactly those reasons are remains unclear even to him. Maya immediately responds with a firm defense, not only of herself but also of the workers she represents. Her response is confident and unwavering, showing her commitment to protecting those who depend on her. This defense is not merely reactive, it reflects her core values and loyalty, traits that give her a strength Victor hadn't fully anticipated. Her stance adds a layer of complexity to the confrontation, transforming it from a simple dispute into a moment charged with deeper significance. The clash between Victor and Maya generates a palpable tension that hangs between them. It's a tension born not only from the explicit disagreement but also from the unspoken undercurrents of mistrust, curiosity, and uncertainty. Both characters are trying to assert control over the situation, each seeking to shape the narrative according to their own perspectives. Yet beneath their words lies an unsettled feeling, a sense that this encounter is about more than what's on the surface. For Victor, the confrontation triggers a series of strange feelings and subtle clues that begin to unsettle his previous assumptions about Maya. These feelings are difficult to pinpoint, an odd mix of doubt, intrigue, and suspicion that make him question her identity and true intentions. Small inconsistencies in her behavior and subtle hints in her words catch his attention. These clues, while not overt, are persistent enough to disrupt his certainty, prompting him to look closer and think deeper. This shift in Victor's perspective is significant. Where once he may have seen Maya as simply a person to be confronted or a problem to be solved, now he starts to see her as a mystery to be unraveled. The process of questioning her identity introduces ambiguity into his understanding of the situation, forcing him to reconsider his initial judgments. It opens the door to doubt and inquiry, marking the beginning of a more complex relationship dynamic. Maya, meanwhile, finds herself both confused and intrigued by Victor's behavior. His intensity and the underlying questions in his tone create a puzzle that she struggles to decode. She is uncertain about his motivations and what exactly he suspects or knows. This confusion is tinged with curiosity, as she senses there is more beneath the surface than what he openly reveals. Victor's behavior challenges her assumptions about him as well, inviting her to look beyond the immediate confrontation. Her intrigue is not passive, it drives her to pay closer attention, to be more perceptive of the nuances in their interaction. She becomes aware that this encounter is not just about the dispute at hand but may be connected to larger, unseen forces or truths. This awareness adds depth to her character, showing her as someone capable of both defending her position and engaging thoughtfully with complexity. The confrontation between Victor and Maya thus serves as the crucible where the seeds of the central conflict and mystery begin to take root. The charged atmosphere, the emotional intensity, and the emerging doubts and questions all contribute to laying the groundwork for what will become a deeper and more intricate storyline. This moment is not just a clash of personalities but the starting point for unfolding tensions that will shape their futures. Beyond their immediate exchange, the impact of this confrontation ripples outward. Victor's growing suspicion and Maya's cautious curiosity influence how they interact with each other and with those around them moving forward. The uncertainty born from this encounter colors their perceptions and decisions, adding layers of complexity to the narrative. The dialogue and body language between Victor and Maya reveal unspoken thoughts and emotions, emphasizing how much remains hidden beneath the surface. Their interaction is a subtle dance of probing and defense, of revealing and concealing. Each carefully chosen word and gesture carries weight, signaling that the stakes are high even if the full implications are not yet clear. This scene reflects broader themes of identity, trust, and the search for truth. Both characters are grappling with who they are in relation to each other and the larger context they inhabit. Victor's suspicion mirrors a universal human tendency to question what is unfamiliar or uncertain, while Maya's intrigue embodies the openness and adaptability required to navigate such uncertainty. Their confrontation also illustrates the fragile nature of trust. With so many unknowns between them, each is wary of the other's intentions. This wariness sets the stage for a story where alliances may shift and hidden motives may come to light. The tension between suspicion and curiosity becomes a driving force in their evolving relationship. Moreover, the encounter highlights the complexity of human interaction, especially in situations charged with power dynamics and hidden agendas. Victor and Maya's exchange is not simply a disagreement but a microcosm of larger conflicts, reflecting struggles over control, understanding, and authenticity. Their meeting encapsulates the challenge of seeing others clearly while guarding one's own vulnerabilities. As their story progresses, the unresolved questions and emotions stirred by this confrontation will continue to influence their paths. Victor's quest for answers and Maya's cautious engagement promise a narrative rich with intrigue and character development. The subtle clues Victor notices will likely lead him to uncover truths that reshape his understanding, while Maya's curiosity may open her to unexpected discoveries about herself and the forces surrounding her. This initial confrontation serves as a catalyst, transforming their relationship from one of mere opposition to one charged with complexity and potential. It invites readers to delve into the mysteries beneath the surface and to explore the emotional and psychological depths of the characters involved. The encounter underscores that beneath conflict often lies the possibility of connection, understanding, and transformation. The tension between Victor and Maya is not simply destructive but also generative, setting in motion a process of revelation and growth. Their interaction suggests that identity and truth are rarely fixed but evolve through challenge and dialogue. In sum, the confrontation between Victor and Maya is a pivotal moment where personal tensions intersect with larger mysteries. It reveals the complexity of their characters and lays the foundation for a compelling narrative filled with suspense and emotional depth. Through their charged exchange, the story begins to explore themes of trust, identity, and the elusive nature of truth, inviting a journey that promises to unravel in unexpected and profound ways. Victor's determination to uncover the truth about Maya grows with each passing day, pushing him to take more proactive and thorough measures. Recognizing that surface-level information won't satisfy the questions swirling in his mind, he decides to engage professional investigators to dig deeper into Maya's background. This move signals a significant escalation in his quest. He is no longer content with his own limited knowledge or assumptions but is willing to invest time, money, and resources into unraveling the complexities of Maya's past. The investigators methodically begin combing through records, tracking down contacts, and piecing together fragments of information that have long been hidden or overlooked. Their work uncovers not only basic facts but also subtle inconsistencies and clues that hint at a more complicated story. At the same time, Victor embarks on a parallel journey inward, probing his own memories for connections or forgotten details that might illuminate Maya's significance. This introspection is neither easy nor straightforward. As he revisits moments from his past, he encounters emotional barriers, memories that are painful or confusing, emotions that were suppressed or unresolved. These internal obstacles make it difficult for him to maintain objectivity, but they also deepen his commitment to uncovering what really happened. His search for truth becomes as much about understanding himself and his own history as it is about Maya. The process forces Victor to confront uncomfortable realities and latent regrets, creating a complex interplay between external investigation and internal reflection. Meanwhile, Maya's world begins to shift dramatically following Victor's visit. The subtle but palpable change in her workplace environment quickly becomes impossible to ignore. Colleagues who once interacted cordially now treat her with suspicion or coldness, casual conversations give way to whispered rumors and furtive glances. This growing hostility signals that Victor's probing has not gone unnoticed and that it has set off ripples far beyond his personal interest. Maya senses an undercurrent of tension and feels the weight of social exclusion pressing down on her. The workplace, once a place of relative stability, turns into a challenging arena where she must navigate not only her professional duties but also the complex dynamics of distrust and alienation. The emotional toll of this social upheaval is significant. Maya grapples with feelings of vulnerability, confusion, and isolation. She begins to question the motives of those around her, unsure who might be sympathetic and who might harbor resentment or fear. This uncertainty adds a layer of emotional strain to her daily life, compelling her to be more guarded and cautious in her interactions. The hostility is not limited to superficial interactions, it infiltrates the atmosphere of the workplace, affecting morale and creating a sense of precariousness that undermines Maya's confidence and sense of belonging. As Victor and Maya confront these mounting challenges, the nature of their obstacles reveals important contrasts and parallels. Victor faces barriers that are both corporate and personal. On the corporate front, his attempts to gather information encounter institutional roadblocks, organizations and individuals who are reluctant to share data or cooperate. These barriers may stem from legal constraints, confidentiality agreements, or simply a desire to protect reputations and interests. Navigating this bureaucratic maze demands patience, persistence, and strategic thinking. Victor finds himself negotiating with gatekeepers, uncovering hidden agendas, and sometimes facing outright obstruction. On a personal level, Victor's biggest hurdles come from within. His emotional entanglements and fragmented memories complicate his ability to maintain a clear focus. As he digs deeper into Maya's past, he must also reconcile with parts of his own history that are painful or ambiguous. This introspective struggle introduces vulnerability into what might otherwise be a purely analytical pursuit, revealing the human dimension behind the investigation. Victor's journey highlights how uncovering truth often requires confronting one's own demons and insecurities. Maya's obstacles, while different in nature, are no less daunting. Socially, she must withstand the fallout from Victor's inquiries, alienation, suspicion, and hostility that threaten her professional reputation and emotional well-being. These reactions reflect the complex ways in which communities respond to perceived threats or disruptions. Maya's situation underscores the fragility of social acceptance and how easily trust can be eroded by fear or misunderstanding. Emotionally, she wrestles with the impact of being scrutinized and judged, a process that stirs insecurities and tests her resilience. Despite these pressures, both Victor and Maya's commitment to uncovering the truth grows stronger. Victor channels his frustrations into renewed determination, refining his investigative approach and seeking new avenues for information. he understands that the truth may lie buried beneath layers of deception, institutional secrecy, and personal denial, and he is prepared to persist no matter the cost. His focus intensifies, fueled by the belief that uncovering the facts will bring resolution not only for Maya but for himself as well. Maya, rather than retreating in the face of hostility, begins to cultivate inner strength and resolve. The adversity she faces acts as a catalyst for personal growth, prompting her to assert herself more confidently and protect her place within the workplace. She learns to navigate the social landscape with greater awareness, balancing openness with caution. This process deepens her self-understanding and clarifies what is at stake not just professionally, but in terms of her identity and dignity. The escalating tension between them and their environments reveals broader themes about the search for truth amid complex social and institutional dynamics. Both Victor and Maya are enmeshed in webs of influence, power, and secrecy that resist transparency. Their struggles illustrate the difficulty of challenging established narratives and the risks involved in confronting hidden realities. The personal and systemic obstacles they encounter demonstrate how truth is often contested and costly. Victor's investigation gradually uncovers leads that hint at a wider conspiracy or hidden agendas. These revelations suggest that Maya's story is entwined with corporate machinations and personal betrayals, expanding the scope of the mystery and raising the stakes. Each discovery complicates the narrative, introducing new characters and motives, and making the path forward less certain but more urgent. Victor's efforts reveal that the search for truth is rarely linear, often involving detours, dead ends, and unexpected twists. For Maya, this growing awareness of forces beyond her control adds to the emotional complexity. She begins to see that the hostility she faces is not merely personal but connected to larger issues of power, control, and secrecy. This insight shapes her response, leading her to consider not only how to survive but also how to influence the unfolding events. Her evolving understanding marks a shift from victimhood toward agency. The relationship between Victor and Maya, though fraught with tension and distance, remains central to the narrative's emotional core. Their intertwined fates suggest that resolution will require not only uncovering facts but also bridging gaps of trust and understanding. The dynamic between them highlights the human element in investigative pursuits, the need for empathy, communication, and reconciliation alongside the pursuit of justice. As obstacles accumulate, both characters must draw on resilience, courage, and ingenuity. Victor learns to balance his analytical drive with emotional awareness, while Maya develops strategies to maintain her integrity amid social pressures. Their parallel growth journeys underscore the interplay between external challenges and internal transformation. The increasing complexity of their circumstances reflects the nuanced reality of truth-seeking in environments shaped by competing interests and hidden agendas. The corporate, social, and personal dimensions intertwine, making every step forward fraught with risk but also laden with meaning. The unfolding story emphasizes that uncovering truth is not only an intellectual task but a deeply human one. As their commitment intensifies, Victor and Maya face critical choices about how far they are willing to go in pursuit of answers. These decisions carry implications for their futures and the broader consequences of the revelations they may uncover. The mounting stakes propel the narrative into new territory, promising heightened conflict and emotional payoff. In this ongoing struggle, themes of perseverance, identity, and justice emerge strongly. The characters' journeys reveal the costs and rewards of confronting difficult truths and the ways in which personal histories and social contexts shape that process. The narrative invites reflection on the complexity of human experience when faced with secrecy and suspicion. Victor's deepening investigation and Maya's response to workplace hostility create a layered, compelling story that explores the challenges of uncovering hidden realities. The tension between corporate resistance, personal vulnerability and social upheaval drives the narrative forward, maintaining engagement and emotional depth. The chapter ultimately portrays a powerful dynamic of conflict and growth, illustrating how truth-seeking is a multifaceted endeavor requiring strength, insight, and commitment. Both Victor and Maya navigate their obstacles with evolving clarity and determination, setting the stage for further revelations and transformative developments. The confirmation that Maya is Victor's missing daughter emerges as a profound and life-altering revelation, shaking the foundations of their lives in ways neither could have anticipated. Whether through a DNA test that scientifically proves their biological connection or the discovery of a long-lost keepsake bearing undeniable significance, the truth suddenly surfaces, carrying with it years of pain, unanswered questions, and emotional upheaval. This moment of discovery does more than merely identify their relationship, it transforms their realities, forcing both Maya and Victor into a complex and deeply emotional journey neither was ready to embark upon. For Victor, the news awakens a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. There is a palpable sense of guilt that overshadows everything, a guilt rooted in the years lost, the absence that has defined their relationship, and the failures he perceives in himself as a father. Victor has carried the weight of this loss silently, burdened by what he might have done differently and haunted by the notion that he somehow failed Maya. The revelation ignites a fragile hope within him, a yearning for redemption and the possibility of forging a connection that was once impossible. Yet, this hope is fragile, tempered by the fear that the opportunity for reconciliation may never fully materialize. Victor's guilt is not just a private burden, it shapes his every thought and action moving forward. He is painfully aware of the emotional distance that has grown between him and Maya over the years, and he understands that repairing their fractured relationship will demand more than just words. It will require patience, humility, and a willingness to confront the past in all its complexity. This revelation marks not only a turning point in Victor's life but also a call to responsibility, an imperative to face the consequences of absence and make amends, even if the path is uncertain and fraught with difficulty. Maya's response to the revelation is equally complex but markedly different in tone. The confirmation that Victor is her father disrupts the very core of her identity, forcing her to re-evaluate her understanding of her past and her place in the world. For years, Maya has lived with the void left by Victor's absence, piecing together her life without the presence of a father figure. The news plunges her into a state of shock, a mixture of disbelief and emotional turmoil. The revelation is not merely informational, it shakes the foundation of everything she believed about herself and her family. Maya's initial reaction is one of deep distrust. The sudden emergence of Victor into her life after so many years of absence feels jarring, even threatening. She questions the motives behind this newfound connection, wary of being hurt again or manipulated. Her shock gives way to skepticism, as she struggles to reconcile the image of the man who has been absent for so long with the reality now placed before her. This wariness is not unfounded, it is a natural defense against vulnerability in a situation fraught with emotional risk. The interaction between Victor's hope and guilt and Maya's shock and distrust creates a complicated emotional dynamic that neither can easily navigate. Both desire connection, Victor seeking redemption and Maya longing for understanding, but their paths to those goals are obstructed by the scars of the past. Their relationship is laden with tension, uncertainty, and the delicate task of building trust where years of absence have sown doubt and pain. This revelation irrevocably alters the trajectories of their lives. For Victor, the certainty that Maya is his daughter means he can no longer live in quiet regret or denial. The opportunity for connection demands engagement, and retreat is no longer an option. Likewise, Maya must confront the reality of Victor's presence and grapple with the emotional and psychological implications it entails. Both must come to terms with the fact that their lives, once separate and distant, are now intertwined in ways that will shape their futures. As the story deepens its emotional core, the relationship between Victor and Maya evolves into a profound exploration of forgiveness, identity, and the complexities of family bonds. The revelation forces them to confront the painful truth that time lost can never be regained, yet also opens the door to healing and reconciliation. Their journey embodies the tension between past hurts and future possibilities, highlighting how love and connection can emerge even in the aftermath of separation and distrust. The process of rebuilding their relationship is neither straightforward nor immediate. It involves moments of vulnerability and withdrawal, understanding, and miscommunication. Victor and Maya must learn to navigate the fragile terrain of emotions that have accumulated over years apart. This journey is marked by their shared struggle to reconcile who they were, who they are, and who they might become together. Victor's reflection on his past is crucial to this process. He must acknowledge the ways his absence has affected Maya and accept responsibility for his role in their separation. This self-awareness is painful but necessary, fostering the empathy and humility required for genuine reconciliation. His willingness to face these truths signals a transformation not only in his relationship with Maya but also in his own understanding of fatherhood and identity. Maya's transformation is equally significant. She embarks on a path of self-discovery, integrating this new facet of her identity into her existing sense of self. Her distrust gradually softens as she encounters the complexity of Victor as a flawed but earnest human being seeking connection. This evolving perspective allows her to begin the process of forgiveness, not just for Victor but for the circumstances that shaped their separation. The revelation also affects their broader social circles, influencing family members and friends who witness this profound shift. The responses vary, reflecting a spectrum of acceptance, skepticism, and hope. This wider impact underscores the relational and social complexities that accompany such a momentous discovery, highlighting how personal revelations can ripple outward and reshape entire communities. Throughout this emotional upheaval, the stakes remain high. Every interaction between Victor and Maya carries the weight of years of absence and the potential for future connection or continued estrangement. Their tentative steps toward reconciliation are infused with the tension of vulnerability and the deep human need for belonging and understanding. This turning point demands that both Victor and Maya relinquish the comfort of their previous lives and embrace the uncertainty of their new reality. Neither can retreat to the safety of their former identities untouched by this revelation. Instead, they must confront pain, hope, and the possibility of healing in equal measure. Their story becomes a testament to resilience, underscoring that broken relationships, while difficult to mend, can be transformed through honesty, empathy, and time. Themes of identity and belonging become central to their journey. Maya must redefine what it means to be a daughter and reconcile the fragmented parts of her history, while Victor must reimagine his role as a father beyond absence and regret. Together, they challenge societal expectations and personal fears, forging a new relationship rooted in authenticity and mutual respect. The revelation reshapes the emotional landscape of the narrative, infusing it with raw honesty and the complexities of real human connection. It challenges both characters to transcend their pain and embrace the possibility of love and belonging despite the fractured past. Their evolving bond becomes a powerful symbol of reconciliation and the enduring human desire for family. As Victor and Maya cautiously build their relationship, their story captures the intricate nature of healing and connection. It illustrates that love, complicated by time and absence, can be renewed through courage and vulnerability. Their journey is neither easy nor swift but is marked by gradual progress toward understanding and acceptance. This profound shift in their lives opens the door to growth and transformation. The revelation acts as a catalyst, propelling them toward deeper self-awareness and relational maturity. It challenges them to evolve beyond the limitations imposed by their past and to envision a future shaped by presence and connection rather than loss. Ultimately, the confirmation of Maya as Victor's daughter breaks open years of hidden pain and longing, forcing both to confront realities they had long avoided. It thrusts them into a complicated but potentially healing relationship, rich with emotional nuance and human complexity. Neither can return to their former lives unchanged, and their journey forward becomes a poignant exploration of family, identity, and the power of reconciliation. Maya's world feels like it's unraveling as she wrestles with the painful truth that has come to light. The sense of abandonment weighs heavily on her heart, magnifying feelings of overwhelm and isolation. She finds herself caught between confronting harsh realities and managing the emotional fallout that threatens to consume her. The truth has shattered the fragile sense of stability she once held, leaving her vulnerable and uncertain about the future. She struggles to reconcile her own feelings of hurt and betrayal with the necessity of moving forward, all while grappling with the absence of the support she desperately needs. The emotional turmoil Maya experiences is complex and multifaceted. It's not only the revelation itself that troubles her but also the ripple effect it causes in her relationships and daily life. Trust has been fractured, and with it, her ability to find solid ground amid the chaos. At times, she feels completely overwhelmed, as though the weight of everything happening around her is too much to bear. Yet within this turmoil, there are moments where she clings to hope and the faint possibility of healing and understanding. These moments, however fleeting, serve as lifelines that keep her from sinking entirely into despair. Maya's sense of abandonment is tied not only to the actions that have led to the current crisis but also to the perceived absence of emotional support. Those she expected to stand by her either seem distant or embroiled in their own struggles. This lack of reassurance exacerbates her isolation, making her feel as though she is facing her battles alone. The loneliness she experiences is profound, an emotional solitude that no amount of company seems to penetrate. It is this solitude that sharpens her pain and forces her into deep reflection about who she is and what she needs to survive and thrive moving forward. Victor, on the other hand, finds himself confronting a different yet equally difficult set of challenges. As a father, he is burdened by the weight of his failures and the recognition of the ways in which he has let Maya down. His reflections are marked by regret and a yearning to make amends, but also by the harsh reality that some damage may be irreversible. Victor's internal struggle revolves around reconciling his desire to repair the broken bonds with the painful awareness that his past actions contributed to the current rift. This self-awareness is both humbling and painful, as it forces him to face uncomfortable truths about his role in the family's discord. Victor's journey is one of reckoning and introspection. He feels the sting of guilt acutely, not only for specific mistakes but for the cumulative effect of years of absence, neglect, or missteps. This recognition propels him to examine his own shortcomings and the ways in which he might begin to take responsibility. Yet even as he seeks to atone, he grapples with the fear that his efforts may be too little, too late. This tension between hope and despair underscores much of his experience, highlighting the fragile nature of forgiveness and the difficulty of rebuilding trust once it has been broken. As the family's struggles become more public, the pressures on both Maya and Victor escalate dramatically. News of their conflict leaks into the community and media, turning private pain into a public spectacle. The intrusion of outside eyes adds layers of complexity and stress, as they must now contend with external opinions, rumors, and judgment. This exposure strips away much of their privacy and control, forcing them to manage their personal grief and conflict under the scrutiny of others. The public dimension intensifies their vulnerabilities and compounds the emotional strain already present within the family. The unfolding family drama magnifies the tensions and fractures that had been simmering beneath the surface. Relationships among family members become strained as loyalties are tested and emotions run high. Long-standing grievances resurface, fueled by the immediate crisis and the pressures it creates. The interconnectedness of family dynamics means that the impact of Maya and Victor's struggles reverberates outward, affecting others in ways that complicate the path toward resolution. This network of relationships adds depth and complexity to their situation, illustrating how familial conflicts are rarely contained to just two people. Loneliness emerges as a pervasive theme for both Maya and Victor. Despite being surrounded by family and acquaintances, each experiences profound emotional isolation. This loneliness is not simply physical but deeply psychological, characterized by the difficulty of truly connecting or feeling understood by others. For Maya, it is the loneliness of feeling abandoned and unsupported, while for Victor, it is the solitude of facing his failures and regrets largely alone. This shared yet separate experience of loneliness shapes their interactions and internal reflections, underscoring the emotional distance between them. Vulnerability is another key aspect of their experience. Both must confront their own weaknesses and fears as they navigate the aftermath of the conflict. Maya's vulnerability stems from her pain, her feelings of betrayal, and her need for protection. Victor's vulnerability arises from his acknowledgement of mistakes and the desire to make things right despite uncertainty about whether he can succeed. This mutual exposure creates an opportunity for empathy and connection, yet it also risks deepening the divide if either party retreats into defensiveness or despair. The possibility of reconciliation looms uncertainly over their relationship. Both Maya and Victor wrestle with whether healing the breach between them is achievable or if the gulf has become too wide to bridge. This question carries emotional weight and complexity, as reconciliation requires openness, forgiveness, and a willingness to face difficult truths. Both must consider whether they are ready or able to take these steps, and what the implications might be for their sense of self and their future. Throughout their struggles, Maya and Victor engage in introspection, examining not only the other's faults but also their own contributions to the conflict. This self-reflection is painful but necessary, revealing the intricate dynamics of blame, hurt, and responsibility. The recognition that both have played roles, albeit different ones, in the breakdown of their relationship adds nuance to their understanding and complicates simplistic narratives of victim and perpetrator. The rebuilding of trust emerges as a central and daunting challenge. Trust, once fractured, requires sustained effort, patience, and consistency to restore. Both Maya and Victor must navigate the delicate process of honoring past wounds while remaining open to change. This process is neither linear nor guaranteed, highlighting the fragility and complexity of familial reconciliation. External influences, such as other family members and friends, add further layers to the situation. Their perspectives and loyalties can either support healing or inflame tensions, depending on how they engage with the conflict. These dynamics illustrate the multifaceted nature of family struggles, where individual relationships are intertwined with broader social contexts. The public nature of their difficulties adds yet another dimension. Media attention and community speculation place Maya and Victor under a spotlight that complicates their efforts to resolve matters privately. Managing appearances and controlling the narrative become additional burdens, making the already difficult process of reconciliation even more fraught. Amid these challenges, moments of empathy and connection occasionally emerge. Small acts of kindness, shared memories, or brief dialogues serve as reminders of the underlying bonds that still exist between Maya and Victor. These glimpses of hope offer the possibility that reconciliation, while difficult, is not impossible. The emotional journey they undertake touches on broader themes of forgiveness, accountability, and the complexities inherent in familial love. Their story reflects the imperfect nature of human relationships and the ongoing effort required to sustain them. It acknowledges the pain that comes with broken ties while also affirming the resilience that can emerge through hardship. The interplay of abandonment and connection, guilt and forgiveness, isolation and empathy weaves a rich emotional tapestry. Both characters must confront uncomfortable realities and seek a path forward that balances honesty with compassion. This delicate balance is central to their development and to the broader narrative of healing and growth. In examining loneliness and vulnerability, the story offers a poignant exploration of the human experience, how individuals cope with failure, loss, and the desire for reconciliation. It emphasizes that healing is a complex process filled with uncertainty, requiring courage and openness. Ultimately, Maya and Victor's story is one of struggle marked by both pain and potential. It captures the difficulty of confronting personal and relational failures while leaving space for the possibility of redemption and renewed connection. Their experience serves as a powerful reflection on the challenges and hopes embedded within family relationships, reminding us that even the widest gulfs may sometimes be bridged with time, effort, and understanding. Maya and Victor find themselves caught in a tumultuous period marked by escalating emotional tensions, with pressures mounting both from external forces and their own internal struggles. Their challenges, though different in nature, converge on a common theme: the confrontation with deep-seated fears, insecurities, and prejudices that have long influenced their lives. The chapter delves into how these pressures test their resilience, force self-reflection, and ultimately push them toward growth and transformation. Maya's experience is shaped profoundly by the skepticism and doubt she encounters from her co-workers and family members. Within her professional environment, colleagues who once acknowledged her contributions now question her competence and commitment. These challenges are not always overt; often, they manifest as subtle dismissals, whispered doubts, or exclusion from key discussions. This shift in perception undermines Maya's confidence and leaves her feeling isolated in a space where she previously felt secure. The skepticism she faces extends beyond mere professional evaluation; it strikes at the core of her identity, making her question her worth and belonging. The strain from her workplace is compounded by tensions within her family. Instead of finding refuge and support, Maya confronts disappointment and criticism from those closest to her. Family members' skepticism challenges not just her choices but the fundamental aspects of who she is. Their judgments carry significant emotional weight, exacerbating Maya's internal conflict and stirring feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. The painful dissonance between her family's expectations and her own sense of self deepens her struggle, creating an emotional turmoil that is difficult to reconcile. Maya's journey involves navigating these dual pressures: external doubts in the workplace and familial criticism while trying to maintain her sense of self. She grapples with the fear that she might not live up to others' expectations or her own aspirations. This fear manifests as a pervasive insecurity, influencing her decisions and interactions. Yet beneath this vulnerability lies a determination to assert her identity and reclaim her dignity. The chapter highlights the complexity of her emotional landscape, portraying how Maya must learn to balance self-acceptance with the desire for external validation. Victor, on the other hand, faces a different but equally destabilizing